I love that little message. Zoom said, let's get this started. So exciting.
I know. I know. Zoom keeps making all these changes. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
Well, let's get this started, Barry.
Yeah, yeah. Seller leads, man. Everybody wants seller leads. Well, other than like 2008, 2010. Outside of that, we've always wanted seller leads. And especially now with all the changes, buyers agents are, part of why they want sellers. You control more of your business, you control your schedule, but then also, you got the listing. You set your respective rate of pay with the seller, and so I think there's comfort there for a lot of people. And yeah, so like I said, with everything that's changed, man, I think sellers are more important than ever. And you guys happen to specialize in that.
Yeah. Um, we've been doing it for a long time. Seller leads have been our bread and butter. We've offered buyer leads for the last 10 years off and on throughout that. But seller leads have always been the bread and butter. And like you said, they're in demand right now. Changes to buyers agency and how that's working. And listings are scarce right now. We're hearing from a lot of agents in a lot of areas listings are scarce, and so they're looking for any way that they can get more listings. They're trying to connect with more homeowners, but it's hard to find a way to reliably do that. Um,
Right.
and you've used us for quite some time, and I know that your team has been successful with it. Do you know how many leads you get with us anymore? I don't even know, Barry.
It's like 30 or 40 a month. And we consistently are getting listing appointments, consistently listing homes. We started using Zudelio, which is like a institutional cash offer platform. So we get to just call these people. We like to call really quickly, candidly. And hey, got an institutional cash investor, love to get you a few offers within 24 hours. Can I set up a time to walk the property? That's our pitch. We found that
Yeah,
the first person to get in the home is normally going to win the business. Not always, but you got a big leg up. Um,
absolutely.
and yeah, we're listing 15 to 20 at least a year. So the ROI from that has just been fantastic.
Yeah. I hear a lot about, and we've talked with Zudelio, and we've talked through some different ways we can work with them about using their product in conjunction with ours. For anyone who doesn't know, our leads are responding to a cash offer call to action, so that's what's getting their attention. The cash offer piece, are you really having many homeowners accept it, or is it really just a chance to legitimize what they responded to? I can get you a cash offer today, and just a way to bridge the connection and get in touch with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. I would look. So everybody's business is a little bit different. We made the business decision that we would rather get the home in the MLS. If
Mhm.
all things are equal, I'd rather have a sign in the yard because we're going to get a few clients off of that sign. And and so what we normally say is, we can get you these cash offers, but when I put it in the MLS, the free market's going to increase the amount of views, the amount of eyeballs. That means you're probably going to get more activity. More activity means more offers. More offers means more money to you. That being said, why don't we put it in the MLS and we go from there? What we found is that we tend to have more success putting it in the MLS. But I know agents that are working zBuyer seller leads that have put it into Zudelio and have had cash offers go through, and they still make a commission off of it. But again, to your point, I think people are choosing the cash offer option for convenience. But if I can make another option just as easy, and they make more, like, so I'm telling them it's going to take you an extra 45 days, but I'm going to make it easy because I'm representing you. It's compelling because sometimes, it's 30, 40, $50,000 more.
Right, right. Very interesting. I think the simplest way to sum it up, it gives you multiple institutional cash offers immediately to speak with about the homeowner. It gets you straight into the conversation, and it's responding to what they just responded to. It's matching
Exactly.
what their interest was, what got their attention, and it makes it easy to go into that conversation. And then at
That's
that
right.
point, you're in front of them. You steer the conversation to what's going to be the best outcome for them and also what works best for you.
Well,
And
yeah,
one thing,
I mean, look. Oh, go ahead.
no, go.
I was just going to say that, one of the reasons why agents they might not enjoy calling expireds and FISBOs. The reason they do it is there's intention there. When the consumer desires something, it's easier as a salesperson to accommodate that person because now all my conversation and talking points is around knowing what they want. But with most online leads, there's a lack of certainty and clarity on what they want. They really don't know yet. And so you call them and say, hey, I saw you checked your home value. Not that you guys aren't providing those kinds of leads, but let's say you were. I was calling to check or help you with your home value. Yeah, I'm really not that serious. Call me in a year. We don't know what to do with those people. So to be able to have somebody that says, not only do I want to know what my home value is, I also would be interested in finding out what I could get cash for my home. And that's a higher degree of intention that we found, not always, but a lot of times has a degree of urgency, like somebody that's willing to lose money to sell fast. Many times has got a situation that they're, what they're working on. So,
Yeah. Uh, More often than a typical home valuation lead, there's someone in dire need to move quickly and to make a change. And what we find with it, compared to just a typical home valuation lead, the cash offer component in that call to action is it gives you as the agent specifics to speak to. It's
right.
no longer vague and just what's my home worth. A cash offer, to your point, there's typically something motivating that or pushing that thought process to look at that with the general knowledge of I'm going to lose something. I might lose a couple percent or I might lose 20, 30%. I don't know, but I need to look at this offer and figure out what this is and if this works for me.
Right, right, absolutely. Well, and that's what makes the zBuyer seller lead product so compelling. Is you guys, I know that every month I'm going to get a certain number of homeowners that are interested in getting a cash offer on their website. And look, then now I can create systems in my CRM, automatic email campaigns. I can automate Zoodealio. I can automatically upload it into Ylopo and send equity reports to them to try to increase engagement with the different content that I'm automatically sending the seller leads that zBuyer is generating. So there's just because of the consistency of the product, I'm able to build automation around it because I can operate under the assumption that if I give Jordan's zBuyer X amount of dollars every month, they're going to return X amount of humans that are wanting a cash offer, and then your whole organization just starts to call them and convert them.
Yeah. And that's where the title of today came from, Seller Leads on Demand. Anyone can go and create their own pay-per-click campaigns. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some research. It's going to take understanding the algorithm and how to build an effective campaign. You have to manage it. You have to monitor it. You can't just start it and forget about it. But
Right.
what we do is we try and take some of that out of the equation. As the agent, you can spend your time focusing on building and managing campaigns and creating them, or you can spend time working on leads and the actual conversion process. And so seller leads on demand, we take out the three factors or variables that we find with lead generation. There's cost, there's quality, and there's quantity. And we can guarantee all three of those for somebody. Cost, it's a fixed cost. We quote you whenever we talk with you or you go online and you see what it costs, and that's what it is. There's no other changes, no other fees per lead. You're going to pay a set price. Quality, we guarantee. And if any lead comes through that doesn't meet those quality standards, so they're already listed or incorrect number or bad information, they're already under contract, any of those reasons, we replace the lead and we generate you a new one. And then quantity, you tell us exactly how many you want, and that's what we deliver to you. I looked at your account, Barry. You buy 63 leads a month from us. And for the last 17 months in a row, we've delivered that exact amount to you.
Awesome.
And there's actually, yeah, there's been times where you've gotten some extra leads on top of it. But you pick a number, you set the amount of leads you want from us, and that's what we do. We try and make it on demand where an agent can come to us that day, they can sign up, and that evening already be receiving leads from their area, responding to the marketing that we're putting out. And it's giving you more opportunities to spend time working on leads, converting leads, getting into conversations rather than arguing with Google and trying to figure out why your leads are costing you $50 a piece and they're coming through as Bob with no information.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And we have a couple of comments in the chat. One of them is talking about, struggling with conversion.
Yeah.
And I think I think this is a common topic. If the consumer is coming from Google or Facebook, like there are search traffic, basically Bing, any of those, they normally aren't really sure what they want yet. And if we're being honest with ourselves as an industry, agents are looking for a lead that I can call and they need me. They want my involvement. They have questions. They know where they want to go. They know when they want to sell. And when we get these people that are like, leave me alone, you guys call too much, we automatically assume that it's a bad lead. And I just want y'all to know something, that talking to humans that don't know what they want is an art form. And there are way more people that are 6 to 12 months out with their buying or selling needs. And in this case, talking about selling, there are way more people that don't know what they want yet than there are that do. So you can either decide, it's a decision to be frustrated. You can be frustrated by the lack of people that answer the phone and say, I'm so glad you called. Can we sell my house this weekend? You can be frustrated by that if you want, or you can just recognize that a consumer on Google is still researching, and you can figure out how to monetize the conversation of a person that doesn't know what they want yet. And the key here is providing value. Somebody's asking for my SOP, my standard operating procedure. You know what my SOP is? If they have a pulse and they have a desire to sell, we are meeting with them ASAP. That's my SOP. Now I'm oversimplifying, but what I want you to know by that is we figured out how to be relevant to these people really quickly. First of all, they came in off of a cash offer lead ad. So we start there. Hey, needed some questions answered. I can get you 3 offers in 24 hours. If they back up off of that, right? If they say, well, I'm not really ready yet, I'm waiting a year, which some of them do. They say they're not ready yet. To Jordan's point, 6 to 12 months takes a lot of these people. So if they're not interested in meeting right away, we say, oh, you're not ready yet. I'm so glad you're not ready. This is probably the biggest financial transaction of your life. So I'm glad to hear you taking it seriously. For people that aren't ready yet, what we do is we actually do a walkthrough of the home, because there's probably a lot of things that you think you need to fix about the property, and you're going to fix them and you're not going to get a return on your investment. You will not make more money as a result of fixing whatever it is you're fixing. So what we do is we'll do that 15 to 20-minute walkthrough of the property. Just make sure you're not wasting money fixing stuff. Now, I like to do this Wednesday afternoon or Saturday morning. What works best for you? This absolutely crushes with middle of funnel, top of funnel seller leads, because no website can do that.
No.
Only a human can do it. And so it allows us to get in their home, allows us to talk about the listing process, their home value. So I think you've just got to understand better. And I say I'm talking about agents as a whole. We've got to understand better where the consumer is at in that moment and stop having our preconceived notions of what a good lead is. I'll just tell you, I'm making way more money this way, way more money doing it this way than I was waiting for a good lead. Air quotes.
Yeah. And I think it comes down to, again, what you're saying, looking at it and really having the right mindset on a lead that's ready now or not ready now. One's good, one's bad. And it's not that simple, because a lead that is not ready yet, but has intention of being ready in the future, you're creating this opportunity where you're the one who guides them to being ready. So whenever they hit that point, you've already made the connection, you've walked them through it, you've given them your guidance, your expertise without anything at this point. They're not paying you, you're not earning anything from them. You've done this out of your expertise and being the expert in their area that they can rely on and they can trust on. So when they are ready, there's no other thought of who they're going to work with and who's going to list their home. You've been there the entire process.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's funny because that's actually an illustration I use in my book, Too Nice for Sales. I talk about how real estate agents are standing on the top of the mountain, yelling down to the buyers at the bottom of the mountain, "Are you ready?" And they're like, "No." And we say, "Okay, well, when you're ready, come on up here and I'll help you." Right? That's what we're doing. I'll send you some information and I'll check in on you every once in a while. That's effectively what we're doing. We're basically saying, y'all figure it out. When you figure it out, let me know. I'll take your order. Would you like fries with that? Right? That's where we're at in our industry.
Yeah.
And what we need to be doing is standing at the top of the mountain saying, "Are you ready?" And they say no. Say, "Hold on a second. I'm going to come down. I'm going to hold your hand. We're going to walk up this mountain together." That process of meeting with people before they're ready has shrunk our sales funnel from 9 to 12 months to 3 to 4 months consistently. And it's not because we're pushy, it's because we are proactively helping our clients to want to be able to reach their goals. We're just in the empowerment business.
Right. You're getting in there and you're helping them understand the process. You're helping them understand the steps and where to start and where to go. If not, they're left on their own to try and figure this out. And what that's going to result in is them filling out more information online somewhere else until they get an agent who is ready to meet with them when they're not. And that's going to walk them to that point. Couple questions that came through. Not sure where leads are clicking. Reason I ask. When I get their info and I say you clicked on an ad, wanted a value for your house, I'm not sure though where they're seeing it. So really good question, James. Our marketing and where we're putting this call to action in front of these homeowners is either going to be delivered to them through email or text message. We're capturing their information early on in other points where we see them online. Then at that point, we're going to email and text them to get in front of them and present them with this offer. You can go to our website actually, and you can demo the entire path. So you can see front to back the process that the homeowner goes through, what questions they're asking. Barry, a question for you, because I know you guys hear this. Anyone who works online leads hears this. I didn't fill anything out. How quickly do you respond to that, and how do you pivot away from that and keep the conversation going?
Yeah. So I think for most objections, that's what this is, by the way. This is an objection. I didn't
Yeah,
click on the ad. They're basically
get
pushing
off
you
my
away.
phone. Yeah,
So normally the first step is to somehow figure out how to compliment them or make them feel heard and understood. I didn't click on anything. I don't even know why you're calling me. Oh man, I hate it when that happens to me. I'm sure that's probably pretty frustrating. So hey, do you own the home on 123 Smith Street, or was that wrong as well? That's it. I don't need to argue with them about whether or not what they're saying is true. I don't need to say, "Well, you clicked 4 times. I went through that same submission process. I know you're lying to me." That's a complete waste of time. And by the way, you won't get the sale. But if you empathize with them in your head, you pat them on their head, like, "Oh gosh, I'm so sorry that happened. Hey, so," use the "hey so" or the "while I got you," and just move right on with the conversation. I learned this by calling expireds. I remember a lot of people said, I would say, "Hi, is John there? Calling about 123 Smith Street." "No, this isn't John." "Okay, have a good day." Until one
yeah,
day I learned a new script where it was, "Hi, is John there? Calling about 123 Smith Street." "No, this isn't John." "Got it. Well, do you know, is John home? Or do you have a better number for him? He's trying to sell his home, and I have some information I think he'll really appreciate." So just that one change of the narrative of how I was handling that one interaction, it actually led to several listing appointments because people said, "Well, I'm not going to give you his number, but I'll write yours down. I'll have him call you. He's in the other room." I mean, that happened a lot. And so what you need to understand about most of these questions about conversion and objection handling, you're so conscientious and so caring, and I love that about you guys, but you're taking their objection as if it's a real objection. And like the majority of the time, it's not. The majority of the time, it's the casual. You went into the store to buy something, and the salesperson said, "Can I help you?" And you say, "You're just looking." You're there to buy something. You just don't want to be bothered. And that's what these people are doing to you. So you affirm them, and then you keep the conversation going. Now, there's another objection here where he said, "I got him. I gave him information. And he said, I have a friend who may be listing their home in the next 2 weeks, and he referred me to his friend." I'm going to affirm them. I'm going to tell them that's amazing. I love competition. I love hearing about what other people are doing to successfully sell homes. And I would love to be able to do a side by side and compete for the business alongside Johnny Schmo agent. When's a good time for you and I to meet to go over the process? And then you can compare it to whatever this other agent's doing. And then we can sync up after and compare notes, because I'm not going to go over everything I do in 45 minutes. I would put you to sleep. Did you want to meet today or tomorrow to go over all that? All right. So again, always affirm, make them feel heard, make them feel understood, and then either ask a follow-up question, like I told the first group. And in this particular situation, I'm going to run right into the fire. I'm going to be like, good. I'm glad I'm competing. I can't wait to show you how awesome I am. Right.
Yeah.
I used to, I don't know if I would necessarily tell people to do this, but I remember being the first one to go in sometimes, knowing there was an agent that, or I didn't know there was an agent that came behind me, but I found out in the middle of the appointment there was another agent that was going to be doing a presentation after me. And some agents are taught to get that listing agreement signed right away. And I would tell them that. I would say, a lot of agents will bring all the documentation to get you to speed up. To be candid with you, I'm just so competitive. I love the fact that I get to go up against somebody. My only ask is after I finish, because I'm spending the time with you and I'm sharing my industry secrets, I don't need their secrets, but I want your honest feedback after we're done. And after you meet with that other agent or other two agents, I want you to grade me and compare me, and I want you to be scathing. It's the only way I'll get better. Well, what ends up happening is if they're able to call me and say, I'm thinking about going with this other agent, and I'm not rude to them, I'm very understanding, and I talk through maybe why or something that I do that's different and why I do it differently, I rarely lost on listing appointments.
Very interesting.
Um,
I like that.
yeah.
I see Anthony. We've got a question from Anthony. I thought this was about a new feature within zBuyer. So, Anthony, that is part of why we're here today. My gosh, we're almost out of time, Barry. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into it. We have
Great
heard
segue. Good job.
we've heard a lot of demand from agents over the years. Also, looking at the market, the industry, listings are scarce in some markets. There is a new demand to own the lead and to not have other competition working that lead, especially as more people are becoming competitive with how they work leads. They're building better systems. There's certainly something to be said to having a lead exclusively. So with that said, as of today, across the country, we now offer leads exclusively. Every county is going to have different sets of availability and different numbers of leads available, just like our standard pricing. And the prices are going to fluctuate. They're starting at $45 per lead across the country. And depending on the market, it can be higher than that. But we now have exclusive leads. This is not something available on the website yet. This is a first access that we're giving to everyone here in the webinar today. So to get access to this, you will have to meet with someone from our team. They can give you a call, they can send you a text message and go over the information details for your area. I'm going to put a link to a form here. Fill this out quickly. Let us know where you're interested, and we'll be in touch. James, how many people do we share with now? So every county is going to be different as far as how many leads or how many agents can receive that same lead. Nationwide, we cap it at 6. We have areas right now, though, candidly, where only one agent might be receiving a single lead. But Barry's areas in Virginia are maxed out to where typically every lead's going to 5 or 6 agents, and there is more competition on those leads.
Right.
Barry, a question for you. And you've bought non-exclusive leads from us for 10 years or more. What is your thought looking at it from the understanding of a cost benefit analysis? You can get more leads non-exclusively, or you can get fewer leads, but get them exclusively and own the lead.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a business decision. I think if you're a solo agent or a really small team, I personally think paying extra for exclusivity makes a lot of sense. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense for a larger team, but in theory, if you have a network of people in your organization where all they do is dial, you're going to be able to get the leads presumably a little bit cheaper by not going exclusive and calling a lot. But I would say that's like 10% of your customer base. For the other 90% that are trying to build their own business, and time is of the essence, and maybe you're not able to get to them as quick as some of the other agents in your market. So let me say this. I would be willing to bet that the majority of people on this webinar, over half at least, don't call leads within 5 minutes or less. Okay, I'm just going to make that assumption. Okay, if you're amongst that majority, I'm going to tell you that exclusivity makes a lot of sense, because the first person to talk to them is a winner.
Absolutely. And I would hate to be another agent getting the same lead as you, Barry, because I know your team is quick to calling those
No,
leads.
yeah, we try.
Yeah,
My whole organization is based off of that, and so that's why I pay people a salary to sit at a computer all day and call for my agents. Um, but not everybody's set up that way. So I think it really is a business decision on what makes sense for you. Are you guys still doing the prospecting list as well? I
we
know for
are.
me you are, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, we
so
are. And the non-exclusive leads as well. So whenever you sign up for non-exclusive or the exclusive leads, you still get the prospecting list. And that's what our team's here for. We're going to walk you through the areas, the pricing, show you how many leads are in that area, and help you make a decision as to what makes most sense for you and your business.
yeah, so I'll just tell you guys the prospecting list. It's like basically a reservoir of contact buyer leads that you have access to for free, and we hit that hard. We've had a lot of success on the prospecting list of finding buyers, adding them to searches, things like that. It's worked out really well for us.
Very cool. Barry,
Yeah,
I think we've kind of hit on everything we had. I think
I
we went
think
through
so,
most
buddy.
of the questions.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's a great opportunity. When things become more difficult in our industry, um, you have one of two options, right? In life, things get hard. You can be a victim to what has occurred in your life or your circumstances, or you can choose to be a victor. And with all these changes and everything that everybody's working through with their businesses to remain successful, I'll just tell you, when there's big changes like this, I personally I fight a little bit of angst because I like consistency, I like rhythm, right? But
Yeah,
I've learned to become very excited, because where there is change, there is opportunity. The key is where finding that opportunity and giving it everything you have. In 2008, when the market crashed, I failed in that regard. But every market shift after that, I've made really great choices. It's one of the reasons why I'm on a webinar with you, right? Because I've consistently grown my business over decades to be able to become a successful business owner, because I've learned to embrace the change and pivot through it. So,
absolutely. Jason said we put the prospect list for sellers in HomeBot. That's fantastic. We hear that our leads respond really well to that. Will a recording be provided? Yes, so I know that there will be a recording on the Lab Coats Agent YouTube channel. And then this is also in the zBuyer Mastermind group on Facebook. Patrick said, for competitive markets that are full, how will you support non-exclusive leads if one or two people buy a significant number of exclusive leads? Patrick, good question. I can't give you away all of our secrets and how we do it and what we do, because we have a complex distribution system. But we have leads designated for both. And then we also have the option or availability in a lot of areas if we have the demand to continue increasing our lead generation and to bring in more leads. What is the new YouTube channel to review this information? zBuyer, do you have any role-playing feeds to help us convert leads? Julie, absolutely. If you come over to our Facebook group, there's a lot of information in there, and a lot of people that'll also help you. Barry, I know we are at the end of our time here. So anyone who's still here and still has questions, feel free to fill out the form. We'll be in touch with you, or come over to our Facebook group and we can continue to answer questions there, and be as much help as we can. Barry, thank you so much
yeah,
for coming on.
that's awesome, man. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, always awesome connecting with you as well. Do you do the buyers as well, Jason? Okay, more people going back and forth. Everyone, we're going to have to wrap this up before we start getting yelled at by Lab Coat. Thank you so much for being here. Excited to meet with you all and work with you and answer any questions. Barry, good to see you, friend.
Yeah, always a pleasure, sir. Thanks.